Welcome, our viewers. As I promised you, I'll be hosting a man of God, a writer, and author, Apostle Daniel Yakwan. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
You say hi to our viewers.
Hello, you are all welcome to these few minutes of
live interaction
with this wonderful Kikuyu lady.
Orenga.
Orenga. The Lord bless you.
Amen. Who is Daniel Yakwan?
Daniel Yakwan is a servant of God, born again, love the Lord, and serving in the vineyard, committed to kingdom advancement, and an author, a family man, and also a founder of a vision. That is Daniel Yakwan.
And where were you born?
I was born in a city called Jos in Plateau State, Nigeria. I am actually the third in the family of 7. We have 3 boys and 4 girls. I was a third in the family, and actually my mom gave birth to me while she was on her way to meet with my dad on a rail. She was in the train going to meet my dad, and she went to labor, and she delivered me in the train. So it was helped by some women. And then when we arrived where my dad was, and then he gave me a native name called Tena. Tena. Tena.
Leave the pronunciation.
Tena means God's gift. Because my mom told me that when she got pregnant with me, the first month she started bleeding. She bleeded throughout until my delivery. People were saying that she was going to have miscarriage. She also was expecting that the baby is going to go out. And then she bleeded up to the time of delivery. And also, she also told me that I lasted in the womb more than all the children she gave birth to. I lasted to 11 months. So my mom bleeded for 11 months and gave birth to me while she was on her transit to go and see my dad in the train station. That is how I was born.
Wow. Can you call that battles from birth?
From?
Battles from birth.
Okay.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
Can say
battle
from
conception. Yeah.
Okay.
Battle from conception. Yeah.
And how was your education life?
So as I grew up, I realized that my father was not financially okay. We came from a very humble background. When I say humble, I'm talking about in terms of finances and the rest. We're actually very humble background. And also, there was nothing so special or unique about our family that was so much of attractive. Even though my father started a bit well, better than his brothers, but along the line he lost virtually everything and had nothing. So was left with us and our mom, and our dad had no choice but to give us out to relative, not friends. Some of them were friends that they can help us because he couldn't afford sending us to school. So for me, I dropped out in primary 4. Yeah, because I couldn't. And then my father handed me over to a man. His name is called Kabiru. So Kabiru took me down to Kano, where the Kano is the area where the Muslims dominate. Though my background, I'm a Christian. My father, my mother, they are all Christians. But the Kabiru was his friend who is a Muslim. So he took me to Kano and handed me over to a particular family where I was taken to the mosque and meant to be given a name and also to confess Islam as my religion. So after the confession, they gave me a name called Dahiru. So I was known as Dahiru, and then I was sent to Makaranta Allo, which is an Arabic school. And in the Makaranta Allo, we became Al-Majari. Al-Majaris are like, they call them like the slaves of Allah. So after we have studied, we go out to beg alms from people. So we be on the street in large number. You see us on the street begging alms people giving us money, giving us things. And oftentimes, like our Malam, which is the imam who was controlling us, because it was like a school that was owned by this man. So that school, what it does is that when we collect money, he asks us to bring the money to him. But when they give us food, like leftover food and other thing, he asks us to recite the surah and eat the food. So we do that. But when they give us money, he asks us to bring the money to him. So we bring the money to him. So our Malam takes the money and keep it. After Salam Magarba, he takes that money and put in the calabash. And then he will write on the slate something like Rabbana Atna Patinya. So he's going to recite it 70 times. It's an Arabic word taken from the Quran. He will recite this one of the surah, reciting it about 70 times, and takes a little water and wash it on the slate and put on that calabash where that money is. So he lifts it up to Allah and said, this is the money given to us by the infidels. The infidels which are called the Kafiris. Maybe Christian. If you are not a Muslim, you are an infidel. So when the money brought, he takes them, lifts it to Allah, and I said, this is the money given to us by the infidels. So we're praying that you take their glory, their star, through their sweat, which you have given to us, and transfer to us. And so when he makes the recitation, he keeps the money. The next money, an Alhaji, who is a businessman, comes in, he takes the money, gives to him, and the person put the money into business. Within 7 days, begin to prosper. Now, the funny thing are those people who give that money out to the beggar, you begin to discover that your money can stay in your hand. Okay? You get business, but can't last. A lot of funny things happen. Your financial life is triple, because in the Islamic agenda, they have taken your star and given to someone else who is functioning with it. And sometimes a man will open a shop and then ask that we go there and dedicate the shop. The way we dedicate the shop is different from the way Christians dedicate their shop. We go there, we look at the business shop where it is, and if it's a place where we cannot be able to do what we are supposed to do, we ask him to give us a ram or a cow. We take it to a bush, dig the ground, and bury them alive. So you give between 7 to 14 days, the ram rots and begin to produce maggot. And when they begin to produce maggot, you go to the man's shop and you go with a chelbi. That is the one, chelbi is, what do you call it? I don't know how you call it, but the one you use for prayer. You go with a chelbi and you go with 3 incense, which you on in the shop of the man on your left, on your right, and the back, facing the door. You on the incense inside, and then you do the first prayer. You do the first prayer reciting the surah in that shop, and then you give him the chalbi and ask him to put the clothes, whatever inside. He puts it, and then you walk away. Then anyone that comes to the shop that has a star, as he buy in that Muslim man's shop, there is an exchange of destiny. So that was the things we were doing. And then after that, we went further to create, there's this particular media, I think here you call it Nyamachoma, but in Nigeria we call it Suya. Suya is something they choose some young men, they sell at particular joints. And so when you go and buy the Suya, the Suya actually, they use it to exchange the glory and the destiny of people. So those are some of the things I was doing at that time. Then it was 1989 that a friend of mine came to introduce me to a particular group, which is an Islamic group, which they call it Yandaba. Yandaba are those who also fight to defend the cause of Islam, and also who believe that in jihad. You know, Islam has 5 pillars. There are 5 pillars of Islam. The first pillar is prayer. The second pillar is fasting. The third pillar, right now, you know, they are in the month of Ramadan fasting. The third pillar is you traveling to Mecca to observe the rituals on the Holy Land. The fourth one is giving. You being able to give cause zakah. Then the fifth one is jihad. Now jihad is being explained in different forms. There are some certain sects in Islam that believe that jihad is about killing the people and killing people who do not believe in Islam. Then the other people believe that jihad is a fight of faith, fighting to defend your faith. But whichever one is, jihad is one of the pillar of Islam. So, and he introduced me, but the dimension by which he introduced the pillar to me was the area of killing. You can kill a Christian, then Allah will be praised, be happy. You can burn a church and all of that. So I joined them 1989.
And then how many years were you?
At that time, I think that was about the age of 12 going to 13 when I joined them. And then I started. I was not much into the bombing and all of that, the killing, the slaughtering. The first time I was to kill someone was 91. 91 during there was an election that took place called the Abiola election that took place, and they pursued one of the Christian man who was a driver. He was moving the Christian from a place, running with them to the barracks to be protected by the army. So we're informed that a certain driver is moving people. So we ran after him, we caught him and in the mosque, and they brought him out and they asked me to slaughter him. Now I carry knives, but I've never slaughtered. So that was the first time they hold his legs and his arm and asked me to slaughter. So I put the knife on his neck, and as I draw the sword, his neck went off. He bleeded. And immediately I did that, immediately was like a spirit comes upon me. From that moment, killing a human being to me was nothing. It was like I just kill a chicken or nothing. It became normal to kill. So from there, I became very ruthless, and I began to killing and bombing and destroying churches. I became the leader of the group in a local government called Fege local government in Kano State. So the Yandaba group in Fege, I became their leader. So they gave me a name, Dahiru Danger. Dahiru Danger means this is Dahiru with a danger light. Anywhere he sees him, you are not a Muslim, be ready, you will die. So that was the title that was given to me. So that was a moment when I became very brutal to people who are not Muslim.
So in Kenya, we always hear about Boko Haram. In Nigeria.
Yes.
So it's a group that it's true, it's living, it's existing. You know, we have that this mentality of Ogaw in movies or in Nigeria, and we think it's kind of movie or something that they are just trying to bring to us. So Boko Haram exists.
Yes.
This kind of group.
The sect where there's this sect called the Yandaba. It was act of them that Boko Haram came out. Now, Yandaba came out of a group called Metesini. Metesini was the first move of terrorism in Nigeria, but was destroyed and captured and ended at a particular season. So it broke up into small sect, and the sect were called Debenchi, Yandaba. And those Yandaba were the one that was doing it, but in their own way, not like a much bigger platform. So when it got to a point, some of the politicians had to pull some of the Yandaba and encourage them to help them snatch ballot paper and do all of that. And they got connected to powerful people. And then from that moment, they began to migrate up to the point now become Boko Haram. So what is Boko Haram? Boko Haram means forbidden. What is Boko? Western education. So these people they are forbidding of people having Western education. Boko Haram means forbidding to have a formal education, the Western education. They don't believe in Western education. They believe that if you will have education, it has to be an Islamic education, not a Western education. So then that is the reason why you see their target was first bombing of schools, killing students, universities, killing Christians who actually go for the Western education. So their target and their priority was against that before they started expounding to other aspects, which have grown to, capturing of states. A whole county can be now under their control, and then local governments, that is sub-counties, can also be under their control. That is how it has grown. But me, I didn't get to be part of the Boko Haram. But what we were doing was almost equivalent to what Boko Haram are doing now. Though now there are some of them that can kidnap, but we were not kidnapping. Mostly Nowadays, we're mostly into rioting, right? We can be called to riot. And our riot target strictly is to attack the Christian community, burn their churches, burn their schools, slaughter them, and kill them to reduce their population. So that was the area by which when I was there, participated in. So I did all of that until 1999.
So how many years?
That was almost about 10 years.
What?
10 years of going out against the Christian, 10 years of burning churches, killing, slaughtering. As I'm sitting, I cannot be able to count the number of people that my hand slaughtered. Pregnant women who were torn open, young children who were slaughtered and bombed in the church, all of that. I can't count how many that my hand did that. So when I sit down and tell people I am just a product of God's mercy, I'm never qualified to even be a Christian, not even be a preacher. But you see, when God has a mission for you, it does not matter how far you have gone with the devil, he can still find a way to bring you back. So I did a lot of things. In fact, I could remember one of the attacks we attacked. It was a nursery primary school, called Christian Nursery and Primary School. It's in a place called Dakata. We attacked the school. They were on section. They never knew. So I asked they should close the gate. And I said, all the teachers, all the students, all the boys enter. Just slaughter. When we finish slaughtering, let's burn the school. So all the children, if I'm talking to you now, sometimes when I want to go to there, I feel like crying because I wouldn't imagine that I went that far, that we slaughtered them. I could still remember the tears of those children when being slaughtered, were shouting, screaming, calling their mother, calling mommy. That day, there was nobody. They were slaughtered and the entire school was burned. I was the one who leaded that. So I did all of that, not because, like I'm saying now, so that I will not be misunderstood. I was doing that because, one, that was what I was taught.
Yes.
The same way today you are taught to pray, against your enemies in the church.
Yes.
I was taught in jihad that there are two enemies of Islam. The two enemies of Islam is the Jew and the Christian. The Islam do not believe that Satan is an enemy, because they believe that once you go to Mecca, you will stone Satan. And once you stone him, he has no power over you. They call him Shayani. When you stone him, it's over. But the enemy of the Jew, of Muslim, of Islam, are the Jews and the Christians. That is what I was taught. That if you want to destroy your enemy, you must destroy the Jew and then the Christian. So by that, I see a Christian as an enemy. And because we're taught that Islam must be the last religion. So everything we're doing is to make sure that Islam become the last religion, to make sure the Christians are financially down and all of that. And also not to remember, just so that I can bring this, there's one other thing we do at that time, and I wanted to add to this one. In Islam, it is forbidden that any person that is not a Muslim to slaughter a cow. Now, maybe have you been to a place where they call slaughter, where they slaughter cows?
Yes.
Have you ever seen a Christian slaughtering a cow?
I have never taken.
A Christian can never.
Why?
They can never. You go and ask, make inquiries. Even in the place where they are Christian, they are dominant. They are Muslim that must slaughter the cow. The Muslims slaughter the cow. And when they lay the cow down to slaughter, because Allah demands that the biggest animal should be used as a ritual for certain purposes before it being slaughtered. So when they lay the cow down, before the man slaughter, he make recitation. And the meaning is, oh Allah, I offer you the blood of this animal as the infidel takes of the flesh and eat. Take of their glory, take of their power, take of their dominion, take of their authority, and hand over to us. So they slaughter the cow. The meat is butchered, taken to the market. Now we Christians go to the market to buy the meat. But who slaughtered the meat?
The Muslim.
What was the recitation of the meat before it was slaughtered? You don't know. So then if you go and you go to the market, there's what we call the canned beef. You know canned beef? The canned beef, you will see on canned beef, it's written at the side a little halal. And down it, you will hear them written as a slaughter according to Islamic rite. It means that it was slaughtered according to the Islamic rituals. So whoever that eats that animal that is not a Muslim, there won't be an exchange. That's why you see the Western world talk about economic meltdown. The Europe, the American, all the Christian, where they are Christian dominated, talk about economy is suffering. But can you tell me the truth? Have you ever heard Mecca or the Arab nation say they are having economic meltdown?
But when no.
You can never hear them saying, look at how they build Dubai. Dubai is a desert. Dubai is now more beautiful than any city in the world. They are Arabs. Go to Mecca, Medina, you'll be shocked what you see. These people, they are wealthy. What is the mineral resources they have? Go to Arab nation, you'll see that their economy is good. But go to nations, the Western nation where they have the Western education and all of that, you discover the economy shaked. They have to borrow, money, they borrow all of that. Because why? The Muslim believe that Islam will be the last religion before the world will come to an end, come to pass.
Wow.
So on that, Christians are their major problem. They will make sure that they disfranchise them from wealth, from position, from opportunity, so that they will fall back to them. In Kenya, can I ask you, who are the people that does the bureau de change?
Mostly are the Muslims.
Mostly Muslim. Like in Nigeria, most countries, Muslim are the one that does the bureau de change. They're the one that are into exchange. If you go into oil business, who are the people that has most of the oil businesses? Muslims. Most of the minerals, if you want to buy gold and diamond in Kenya, which shop will you go? A Christian shop? A Muslim shop. So why is it that the economy, where there is major economy financially, they are the one occupying it? Because it's a strategic assignment to nation. So if they cannot come through you by force, by killing you and compelling you to be converted, they will come through compelling you to financial strength. When you're financial, many people have converted to Islam because they needed financial assistance. Even in Kenya, people are doing that. So, and that is an agenda. So they have ways by which they will convert people into Islam. The agenda is that Islam must be the last religion. So these were the things I was doing, the killing and making sure that Christians do not have their ground. Anything that is treasure that should give each Christian advantage against a Muslim will come over and make sure we disfranchise them and they don't have access to it. These were the things we were doing.
Just hold on, Apostle. Daniel, we take a short break. We'll be back.
Thank you.